Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new, which you probably are. Today I want to talk about my Roman Empire books. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. If you've been on the internet for literally 2 seconds in the past couple of weeks, you have probably heard someone talking about the Roman Empire. Even my dad asked me the other day why so many people on his timeline were talking about the Roman Empire, and even though I literally could not tell you a single time in my life where I thought about the Roman Empire out of the blue, I definitely have my own Roman empires. So today I want to talk about all of the books that I always think about. I think about them every day. I could literally write essays about these books. And these are also books that if you asked me about, you'd probably regret because I literally would not shut up about them. So let's get into my Roman Empire books. First and foremost, I have to talk about Beartown by Frederick Bachman. If you follow me anywhere, you have probably heard me talk about this book about 1 billion times. The craziest thing is that I honestly read this book by accident. I bought it for my fiance because he plays hockey, and I thought this was simply a book about hockey. So I figured he's probably going to like that, so I bought it for him. And for the longest time, it just sat on our shelves. Until one day, I was filming a TikTok where I grabbed a couple of books and read their first pages. And this is what the first page of Beartown says. Late one evening towards the end of March, a teenager picked up a double-barreled shotgun, walked into the forest, put the gun in someone's forehead, and pulled the trigger. This is the story of how we got there. Tell me how you're supposed to read this and not just want to keep on reading. So that's exactly what happened. I kept on reading, and this book took over my life. Something else that I realized in this process was that I was so wrong to assume that Beartown was simply about hockey. Because even though, yes, it is, it's also so much more. This is a book about community, about love, about family, about loyalty, and how our choices define who we are. At its center is a story about a community who is devastated because of the actions of one person, and how this community crumble and fall, but yet find a way to lift each other back up. I always say that no one writes human emotions and human experiences quite like Bachman does, because I feel like no one has the ability to dissect the best and worst in us. This story is absolutely devastating, but yet it's one of the most hopeful and beautiful books I've ever read. I think about this literally every day, and you can ask my partner, he will tell you. And I honestly feel like I will obsess about this book for the rest of my life because I'm considering getting a tattoo because of this book. So if this is not a Roman Empire book, I just don't know what is. Next is Lonely Castle in the Mirror by Mizuki Tsujimura. I read this book back in 2022, and I think about it so freaking often. This is a story about 7 kids who have all stopped going to school for various different reasons. Day in and day out, they just sit in their bedrooms and watch the days go by. Until one day, their mirrors begin to glow and open a door to another world. They find themselves in this castle ruled by a kid wearing a wolf mask. This kid tells them that there is a key hidden somewhere in this castle, and whoever finds it first will be granted a wish. Whenever this wish is granted, the castle will cease to exist. Also, they can come to this castle every single day, but they have to leave by 5 p.m. If they don't, this kid in a wolf mask will eat them. At first, the kids come back every day looking for the key, but the more time they spend together, the less they think about this key. And this story deals with a lot of pain, but it's so heartwarming, and it tackles those themes with so much kindness. If you like the found family trope, it is very strong and very, very beautiful in the story. These characters really find each other, and they find their similarities and their differences, but Truly, this is a story about the power of asking for help and reaching out to others. It's full of generosity, and I really, really love it. And it's also kind of fun because you kind of have this mysterious element of where is the key. And I honestly have recommended this book to so many people, and every single person that has read it loved it. And the ending of this book is probably one of my favorites of all time. Another Roman Empire book for me is How Not to Drown in a Glass of Water by N.G. Cruz. In this book, we are following this older character called Cara Romero. She has just lost her job because of the Great Recession, and she starts seeing a job counselor to find something else that she can do, but she truly sees these sessions as therapy. So she just tells the counselor about her whole life. And as readers, we only get Cara's POV in the story, so when she goes to these sessions and the story is only told through these sessions, it feels like she's talking to you. You sort of become her therapist. And I listened to this on audio, and I highly recommend doing the same because the audiobook for this book is probably my favorite audiobook of all time. And I feel like every time I talk about this book, every time I think about this book, I want to reread it. And I truly feel like the main reason for that is that Cara feels so much like home to me. She's a Latina character, and I honestly have never found a character that felt so much like my family like her. This story is both funny, heartbreaking, and heartwarming. It explores family, love, loss, as well as living as an immigrant in the United States. It's deep when it needs to be deep, but it's also extremely heartwarming and funny when you need those moments. When I finished reading this book, my only review on Goodreads was, write this down. Cara Romero felt like home to me. And I still think that this is the best way I could have ever described this book. Another one of my Roman Empire books is Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead by Emily Austen. This is honestly more of like a how did this author steal my therapist bio book for me? Because how could she expose me like that? This is a story about an extremely anxious character. Her mind is constantly thinking about all of the things that could possibly go wrong, and honestly, same. She thinks a lot about that, and she really can't find a way to free her mind of those thoughts. She's just really struggling. One day she sees a flyer for free therapy at a church and decides to give it a go. The problem is that when she gets there, Father Jeff assumes that she's there for a job interview, and she doesn't really know how to correct him and ends up getting the job. Another problem is that she is an atheist, and the lady that used to work at this job just died a mysterious death. This book is so funny, but it's also very, very poignant. It tackles mental health in a way that I had never seen done before. I'm very, very grateful for this book because it made me feel seen in ways that I never had felt in literature before. I would literally stop reading pages and just read them to my partner, and he would be like, that's you. So this is a book that I feel like I will always return to whenever I'm feeling particularly down about my struggles with anxiety, because it's a great reminder that I'm not the only one. And the last book that I want to talk about in this video is A Tale for the Time Being by Ruth Ozeki. I read this book back in January of this year, and I think about it so often. Till this day, I don't feel like I've had a reading experience quite like this book, and I wish so badly that more people would read it. This is a story about a journalist who encounters a mysterious Hello Kitty lunchbox at a beach in Canada. Naturally, she opens the lunchbox and finds a journal in there. She tells herself that she's just trying to find the owner and help out someone, and starts reading the journal, but quite quickly she realizes that actually this journal belongs to a 16-year-old Japanese girl. And the worst part about this is that the author of this journal has decided to take her own life when she's done writing about her grandmother's life. Ruth, who finds this journal, becomes obsessed with finding this girl and figuring out her grandma's story. Naturally, she worries about what happened to her and whether or not she went through with her plan. My favorite thing about this book is that you're in the dark just as much as the main character. She has no idea what's going on, and you have no idea what's going on. And we are following her POV, but also the journal entries, so it feels like a very compulsive read because you just want to figure out what happened. And there's one moment in this book where everything just clicks in your head. And that single moment where I had that big click remains till this day one of my favorite experiences I have ever had as a reader. And I have thought about this book ever since I finished it. So those were my 5 Roman Empire books. Let me know in the comments if you have any Roman Empire books or just anything else that you're obsessed with. If you don't know what else to comment but you made it to the end of this video, leave a vase emoji in honor of the actual Roman Empire. But thank you so much for watching my video. If you enjoyed this, please consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel. And I really hope to see you on my next one. Bye!